Some of the goals here. I want you to understand that KV Core is not in a silo. It's not something separate from your business, but it's something that can be completely part of your business. Now, really, any system you're using like KV Core could apply, but obviously I'm a KV Core expert. I'm not like a lofty chime expert. Okay. But it's just a tool to use in your business. And I want you to understand that. I do want you to get excited about the possibilities with KV Core to grow, scale your business, scale your team. And I want to give you some tools and resources. I'm going to give you some free stuff. I do want you to double your income. It's really cool to know how to do something cool in KV Core or make it look a certain way. But what matters is, can it make you money? What else is there? Right. And then, and I want you to know all the ways I can help you. And I'm going to invite you to join one of my programs. I'm going to ask 3 questions, my famous 3 questions, I call them. And if you've heard them, it's going to be okay because it will remind you of all the stuff you still haven't done in life that you need to do. Make more entrepreneur guilt for you. I'm sure you all need that, right? Just kidding. All right. And then and then I'm going to highlight some of my KV Core lead generation and lead conversion stories that some of you have heard, but it's still fun. Like I still like talking about it. And it still makes me like, oh yeah, this is why I use KV Core. This is why I use a system like this. This is what's good about this. I'm going to invite you to join my coaching program. I'm also going to tell you about other things you might not know about that we do. Ready for my first question? Would the client of your dreams be able to find you online? So I have a story. You might have heard it, but in 2018, I went to the movies by myself. I went to see Deadpool 2. I'd seen Deadpool 1, loved it, wanted to see the Deadpool 2. Nobody would go with me, and it was a last minute decision, like just get in the car, go type thing. I reserved my seat like in the front row and in the recliners. I got my like hard cider and my popcorn and I'm excited. And this guy that was also going to the movies by himself sat next to me, and we had both reserved front row seats, but right next to each other. And we just started chatting for a minute as the previews were starting and like talking about like Keanu Reeves and I don't know. We just had a good time talking about movies. And all he knew was that I was a realtor in town. That's it. Nothing else. And I liked the same kind of movies he did. That was the extent of the relationship. And then at the end of the movie, he introduced himself with his first name. I gave him my first name. So he knew Sylvia, realtor. I like dumb movies. Okay. That's the extent of his knowledge about me. And later that day, got an email from him. Now, he didn't turn out to be the client of my dreams or the man of my dreams, but he found me really easily just by knowing my first name and that I'm a realtor and I'm in the area. So how did he find me? I've got pictures all over of me and my profiles that look like me, only dolled up. Because when I go out, you guys, I know on Pure, I never have makeup on and I look a slob, but when I go out, I'm cute. How easily can you be found? It's important. So some things to note is you can truly own your digital space by creating a strong Facebook business page. Some people like, I don't like Facebook. I don't get leads off Facebook or it's not doing anything for me, but it really is. If somebody refers you, like, and let's say another agent refers you to one of their clients who's moving to your area, that person's probably going to look for you online and see if you're like a real thing, how credible you are. Do they actually want to work with you? They know that you got referred to you, but what do they know about you? If they can't find you easily online, they will question your credibility. It might happen. Now, maybe not, that's not going to happen for every client out there in the world, but for a good amount, I think. Having a strong Facebook business page and a strong Google My Business page is just a necessity, I think. And then having a good website so that is clean, that somebody can search for things, they can find what you do, they can learn about you. These are just basics. Okay. Claim and update all your profiles. So your Zillow profile, even if you're not a Zillow Premier agent, have going and claiming all your past sales and making sure your best website is there in the profile. Do you have an updated intro video? And I'm preaching to myself here because I have an intro video there that says, here's buy now before interest rates go up. Okay, I need to update that. Okay, so I do that. Updating all of these, your profiles, what address do you want to get mail at? Do you have a new branch office now that you didn't have before? All of these things need to get updated. Your Realtor.com profile. If you're in the United States and you're a member of NAR, you have a Realtor.com profile and it's sitting out there and you probably don't have a banner for it, probably don't have a profile image. You might not have your best website, best email, best phone number there because you never went there to update it or you haven't in a long time. So these are the types of things that you want to do. You want to leverage tools like RPR or Geo Warehouse, tools out there that you have profiles on. So when you're creating marketing materials, everything's already updated. Getting consistent with blogging and email marketing is important. Using tools like breakthroughbroker.com, EXP Marketing Center, if you're with EXP, that Canva, PicMonkey has a ton of content that you can use. KV Core has Core Listing Machine. If you're with EXP, where you get that for free, and it will create videos and flyers and even sign writers for you. It's quite extensive, actually. Having some videos out there where you're building brand familiarity is important, and it's as simple as a Facebook Live video talking about I just showed this cool house. Check out the cat door. That is you building brand familiarity. All right. Getting consistent with your social media posting. It sucks that we have to live this way. Like, I was just thinking about this, like how fast everything moves and how hard it is to really keep up with everything. It's daunting. It's actually quite daunting. Like, I don't know how many of you are in my boat or you just like, why don't I live on an island off of Costa Rica? Like, why? Because I'm so tired of keeping up. But my role, I feel like my role is to help. First of all, empathize because I'm right there with you. And second of all, help it make it more simple. Help it keep it more simple for you that you don't have to be like the superstar of everything. Next question. Are you like Sleeping Beauty or a Santa Claus? This means, are you just waiting to take orders? Because when I think about 2021, I literally could take an order for real estate and I could just be as busy as am now doing all the stuff I'm doing and still sell real estate, do 25 deals and this full time and have a staff of people and still be okay and not really have to work that hard. That's what 2021 was like for me. And this is just not the world we live in right now. We cannot be order takers. You really have to go and hunt and chase every lead that could possibly come in. If you're like waiting for somebody to kiss you on the lips and say, I'm ready to buy a house now. It's not going to probably work out for too long. Okay. Or are you like Santa Claus? When they're awake, when they're sleeping, you know what their time frame is. When they're looking at houses, you know when they're curious about their home value. So what can help you do that? Using an all-in-one system like KB Core can really help you do that. It took me forever to finally add all of my contacts, all of the people I knew, my past clients, neighbors, everybody, my family members into KV Core and then send them up on search alerts and birthday messages and start emailing them like listing valuations, market reports, and newsletters here and there. It took me a long time to do that because I did not completely trust what KV Core did. I didn't really understand everything about it. And it took me a long time to actually treat it like a CRM. In fact, I have an old video out there with another agent named James who was using it well like a CRM. And he's the one who actually talked me into it. Like, I was teaching KV Core lead generation. That was my gig. That's what I had fun doing. And this was years ago, like 2018. And he's the one who's, no, you got to go all in with it. And so once I did, I was like, my whole world changed. Now I could see who was looking at a house, who asked for their home valuation, who sent me a message, who asked a question, who was looking at this other house over here and their spouse is looking at this one over here. It was just like a whole new world for me. And things started rocking. So once I could see that, it made me feel like Santa Claus. Like I know when they're sleeping, I know when they're awake. And then I could be a gift giver, providing value with email marketing, video, social media posts where I'm communicating with my audience, snail mail, send out cards, home valuation flyers, text marketing. There's this really weird thing you can do. We have these phones and you can call a person and then they sometimes answer and then you can have a conversation. Like you can do that, but you really want to do that as much as possible till you get somebody. Because what is our number one job is to have as many real estate conversations as possible. And the only way to do that is to call. Knowing their time frame with surveys, check-ins, nudges, and leveraging tools like RPR for mailing valuations. I cannot tell you how important that is if you want listings and you want low cost ways to get listings. It's RPR, using those property flyers. And then making sure when you do social media posts, when you send email, when you send texts, when you're making calls, leaving voicemails, giving that person a call to action. What do you want them to do with that information? Did you know I can help you with this and this? Come to this seminar, schedule this call from me, click on this link to learn more. Give me your email and I'm going to give you this so you can do this. What kind of call to action do you want to give them? And then be Leopold. So keeping the ball in your court. What the heck am I talking about? An old movie that I like from like mid 2000s, 2007, I think it was Meg Ryan, Hugh Jackman. Hugh Jackman is from 1876 and he somehow travels through the future to the future through the Brooklyn Bridge or some weird thing. Actually, but it's so romantic. And he's talking to Kate, Meg Ryan's character's Kate's brother, and Kate's brother says he meets this girl. Oh, yeah, Hector's nodding like he knows this movie. Okay, he meets this girl, and he gives her a call, leaves her a message, and now the ball's in her court. And Hugh Jackman, Leopold, oh no, the point is to keep the ball in your court. You're the one pursuing, you're the one courting, so you're in charge of guiding this relationship. It is the same thing as a salesperson. We have to guide this person to the sale, and that's our job. Okay. All right. And then, did your Uncle Jim sell his home on Lake Michigan and not use you? That happened to me. And why did it happen? Because at the time, I hadn't put any of my family members in KB Core, first of all. I did not treat them like my VIP prospects or potential clients. I didn't put myself out there as somebody credible who knew what they were doing and could actually help them to my family members. I didn't do that because why? I assumed that they would work with me. And also you feel weird. Oh, I don't want to bother them. All right. So this is my question to you. You want leads, but do you deserve them? And why do I say that? Because a lot of agents will say, Sylvia, what do I do with a lead when I get one? It's do everything you possibly can to have a conversation. So does your sphere, everybody that you know, everybody, all the contacts in your phone, do they feel serviced by you? Do they feel like your VIPs? Even though they might not be thinking about buying or selling right now? Are you making them your audience? Are you making them feel like VIPs? And have you conveyed a perception of competence and confidence on your social media and with your interactions, digital marketing interactions, or just in-person interactions with people so that they know you're the real deal? And then this might seem kooky, but it's a true thing. Are your actions, your thoughts, and your attitudes telling the universe that you're open for business, or is something blocking that? In other words, are you doing the activity and bringing your good energy into those activities so that the universe knows, like, this is good. I'm going to give you more of this. It seems like you want this. Or the universe is like, I don't think you want that. You're blocked. And then if you get a lead, are you going to work it or neglect it? Or are you just going to wait for an order? And why do I get to tell you these things? Because I have made all these mistakes. And it's tough when I know the thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands. It's actually painful to keep saying thousands, but thousands of dollars I've lost because I didn't do my job. Are you willing to spend some money, invest in yourself? Are you willing to do the activity online to generate low cost and free leads? Are you willing to get creative to leverage your own listings or someone else's listings? Are you prospecting daily? Are you following up? And have you taken time to put your systems in place and then taken some time to learn how to use those systems? Many of you have. I know that you have. I'm going to tell you some of my KB Core stories. And I'm going to try to fly through here as fast as I can because I want to get to the good stuff. And I don't want to keep you forever. All right. When I first started using KV Core before I put all my contacts, and I was just playing around with KV Core for lead generation. And this is all like spring of 2018. I was really just playing around with lead generation, learning a lot about lead generation and campaigns and that kind of thing. And another EXP agent actually tried something and had some success and told me about it. And I'm like, I'm going to try that. So I did. And it was using Nextdoor, which is like Facebook for neighbors. And I created a seller squeeze page. Now, you're not supposed to do this, but I did it. Okay. In Nextdoor, they don't like you like posting real estate lead generation links like this as a neighbor. That's why they have business pages that you can claim, by the way. And then you can sponsor ads and stuff. But I did this as a neighbor. I created a seller squeeze page from KV Core, and I said in the post with the link, I said, a lot of my friends ask me about the value of their home. So I thought I'd share this handy tool so anybody can just click it and get their instant home value. Enjoy. It was something to that effect. Now, the post got taken down, but it took them 3 days to take it down. Okay. So I lucked out there. I think my account might have been suspended for a couple days. I don't really remember, but it didn't hurt me at all in my life. And I got 150 leads in 3 days. Now, I will tell you, I looked at all those and I was like, getting leads is fun. Isn't it great? Okay. Oh, I got another lead. Oh, isn't that fun? Guess what? Guess what? I didn't do anything with them. Did nothing, did zero. It took a month later, I finally looked at it, and some of them I had email addresses for. Some of them I only had an address. Some of them I also had an email along with a phone number. It just was a mixture, but a lot of them were just addresses. But when I really looked at them, some of them were on these drip campaigns, right? Because there was an email and or a phone number, and many of them weren't. They were just nothing because they just were addresses. So as I did like an audit through all of these, I realized I had 98 good leads because many of them were duplicates. Like I had some that said 123 Main Street for this address over here. And then I had another lead for the same address, 123 Main Street, but it was attached to an email. So I had like duplicates. So as I cleaned that up, I had 98 individual addresses, some that also had email and some that also had a phone number. So again, this is about a month later. So when did I do this? I did this June of 2018. You can see the screenshot of some of these leads. So it's July. And guess what happened then? Nothing, because I didn't do anything more. Did nothing. Okay. And then this is why I get to beat you guys up, because I am the worst. All right. So then it was the first week of December. And I'm like, oh, I know I got my little holiday calendars that I send out every year, like the ones with the magnet. And I'm like, oh, you know what I'm going to do? I am going to mail all of these people my calendar, and I'm going to create an RPR flyer of their home value and put it in there, and they're going to love it. Oh, they're going to list with me. It's going to be great. We have so many listings. Okay. So as I was going through that process, guess what? Some of you know the story. Out of the 98, 18 of those 98 from the leads I got 5 months prior had just sold, were pending listings, or were active listings. So there's 18 right now people who are ready to list with a realtor. And I missed them. Now, it was like daunting going through that process. Again, it was like 3:00 in the morning. I'm like handwriting addresses, sitting with my printer, like printing out drinking wine, like printing the flyers and putting them in these envelopes. It was disheartening that I had missed that business, but I knew it was on me. Okay. But I went ahead and sent them all anyways, out of the ones that weren't currently pending to the rest of them. And I did get some trickling in after it, but I will tell you, since that time, I will tell you, these numbers are still true, that about 18 to 20% of the seller leads you get, they are going to be ready to list and sell their home within 6 months. Okay. So that's exercise, the reason I'm spending so much time to tell you about it is because that's when I really knew there was real business to be had with a tool like KB Core if I figured out how to work it. 2 years later, I got a phone call. It was from a California number. I live in Michigan. And I didn't really want to answer it because I'm like, that's probably an EXP agent who has a KB Core question. And I don't feel like answering the phone. So but I thought about it for a minute and I finally decided to answer it. And the lady is, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you answered the phone. You're the fourth realtor I've called. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'm glad I answered too. And she said, now I have a house I want to sell. I have 7 houses actually. I'm an investor. I have properties and I have them as rentals and I'm ready to sell this one. I need to offload it. Okay, great. It's in the historical area of Grand Rapids, Heritage Hill area. It's a duplex. I want to sell it. Wonderful. Next day, met her and got the listing and was able to sell it. Now, the thing is, I looked in my system and I didn't know who this person was originally. So when I talked to her and got all her information, I started to put her in KB Core thinking she was a new lead. This guy got some other way. And that's why she was calling me. I looked in my system and guess what? She was one of these leads I had gotten two years prior that I had a phone number for, that I had an email for. And so the only reason she called me is she was getting my emails from my listing valuations and stuff that was getting automatically sent out. So I was the fourth realtor she called. And the only reason I got the listing is because I answered the phone. But if I would have done my job a lot better, I would have been the only realtor she called. And she probably would have waited for it and left a message for it if I had done my job. Good news is I got the listing, but again, how many more did I lose? Probably a lot. On that 2-year period, I really learned how to work it so much better. Okay, so yay me. All right. Lorena and Pedro were somebody I sold cars to before I started selling real estate. Neither of them spoke very good English at all. And they weren't sure they were going to be able to buy a house because they just had ITIN numbers. And I didn't know anything about that stuff. Here in West Michigan, that's not like a big deal. I don't know anything about that. And I'd only been a realtor for, I don't know, 3 years or something. And I just didn't really know. And the lenders that I talked to didn't really know anything about it. And it was just like a brief conversation. It wasn't serious. It was just, I don't know, maybe we can come up with something. They weren't real serious, I didn't think. But they were in my system and they were getting market reports and a newsletter here and there. And then I just noticed how often they kept looking at my website, like every day looking 5 or 6 properties a day. And so I called Lorena, said, Lorena, I see you keep looking at properties. What can we do? Have you come up with any ideas? What do you want me to do? You want to buy a house? And she said, we really do. We just don't know how. And I'm like, tell me more about your situation. Let's just be real transparent. What is actually happening? And they gave me the rundown. And so I did some research and I found a lender that did it. It was hell on earth, but I did it. We did it. And we found a house. We went to our They still live there today. Everything's great. But I would have never known how serious they were. And I wouldn't have had the passion to go to work for them in the way that I did at the time, not knowing much about that stuff at the time. If it weren't for KB Core, honestly, I wouldn't, because I wouldn't have noticed. I just wouldn't have decided I need to make this happen for these people. You know what I mean? I feel like I owe that to KB Core. Now, this was a listing I had that the sellers were very excited to move. This was a house they'd owned for a long time. They had a lot of unfinished projects that they just weren't physically or lifestyle wise able to complete. So they had an unfinished bathroom and some stuff was just breaking apart, falling apart. They just couldn't deal with. And they just really needed to move into a house that was ready to live in without having to do a project. They were really excited to sell. So I knew they were so excited. So I created my seller marketing kit in which I create a squeeze page for a seller to promote their own listing. And when somebody clicks on that squeeze page, it has a hashtag called seller share that triggers a different kind of campaign. Hey, I noticed you looked at your friend's listing that they posted or shared with you. And guess what? I'm their realtor and I'd love your feedback on this listing. What'd you think about the price, the presentation? Who do you know who might want to purchase this property? These particular sellers were excited. They posted on their Facebook about their house saying, we're just praying that the right buyer wants to buy this house. Who do you know who might want it? We're so excited about the next chapter of our lives, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I got 48 leads, free leads because they posted it. And Lori was one of these leads. So what happens with KV Core is they get their the search alert based on the first property they looked at, and then it evolves, right? So Lori kept looking. I only had Lori's email address, and I did no real work myself to try to have a conversation with her. She was literally just getting search alerts, getting my newsletters now and then. At the time, I wasn't using video messaging, so she wasn't getting a video email from me saying, "Hey, I don't have your phone number. Would love to talk to you. Notice you're looking at properties again. Can I have your phone number?" Never tried that hard. So she was just in there. And one day I looked at my KV Core, because you should look at your KV Core every day, and I noticed a question. So a question came through because on a property page on KV Core, somebody could look at a property and they can click ask a question about this, and then the question comes to you in your CRM. And so I got a question about a house. And this person, Lori, said, "Hey, I want to see this home today. I have 20 grand, but I don't have a lender and I need to get a mortgage, but I do have 20 grand down. I'm ready to buy." And I'm like, "Who is this person? I didn't have a clue." I looked at, okay, I got this lead because she must be a friend of theirs. And it turned out later, I didn't ask my sellers if they knew her. I just learned later that she was just an acquaintance of theirs. They weren't really friends. They were just Facebook friends. They just knew who each other were. And they had gone to the same church in the past. And that was the extent of it. That's how I got that. And then long story short, the next week we were under contract for this little house that she bought. Dwayne and Nancy. Dwayne is somebody I sold cars with. He was in the used car department. I was in the new car department, two different buildings. We were two ships passing the night. I did not know him very well, never really hung out with him. My son also worked at the dealership as an inventory kid. And this guy I know was like nice to my son. And that was the extent of what I knew about Dwayne. But after I left the car business and was selling real estate, well, we were still Facebook friends, apparently, which I didn't even know, but we were Facebook friends. And he must have seen like the stuff I was doing. I'm showing houses, writing contracts, I'm capping new listings I got. So he knew I was out there doing stuff, but I never treated him like a potential client. But lucky for me, because we had worked together, he texted me one day and said, "Hey, Sylvia, my wife and I saw this little like mobile home on this little lake. It's just a short drive from Grand Rapids, easy to get to. We want to go there on the weekends in the summertime, and I want to buy that cash. Can you help me buy it?" It's the height of the pandemic, really, when this happened. And Dwayne was still selling cars. So I did the video for him, and I talked about how to buy a car during a pandemic. And I put it on social media, this video with him, and interviewed him about how to buy a car during a pandemic. And I sent it to my whole database in a newsletter, and his wife saw it on social and she shared it around. They really appreciated that, and they got some business from it, actually. So he started referring me to everybody he knew. And the neighbors across the street in this canal were referred to me, and they had this 30 acres of land they had to sell. They wanted to sell those all like just wetland. Like it was marsh, basically. Very treacherous hunting land, maybe on a good day. And somehow in 4 months, I sold it for 70 grand. I have no idea how that was possible, but did it. Then they said, "Okay, we're ready to sell our lake house too." So I sold that lake house. And from just having a little lake house property, was able to generate 132 leads for virtually $25 just because of that listing. And then those people, along with Dwayne and Nancy, kept referring me. And I ended up selling a lot of houses on that lake. That was cool. All right. All from not being a secret agent. And then finally, my final KV Core story is Katie. I told you these RPR flyers work. As time went on, I got really good at working with my seller leads specifically and learning how to work those addresses. Because again, many times you'll just get an address. So I had really created a process where I created these flyers using a tool like RPR with the home value estimate, a headline, the picture of the home, and write them a little message like, "Hey, you previously requested a home value on my website. Here's an update for you. Let me know if you want to talk some more. We can talk about if you are curious about your home equity or you're thinking about listing. I'd love to chat with you. Schedule a call with me, blah, blah, blah." This woman, she did not give me her name. She did not give me her email address. She did not get a phone number. I only had the address because she just looked it up and that was it. She didn't continue with the process to give me more information. I have an address. So what I do, I create a flyer, send it to her immediately within a couple days of getting that lead. And the day she got the flyer, I get a text from her on my cell phone. Hey, I got your flyer with my home value and I want you to come over and talk about listing my house. Can you do that tomorrow or the next day? Again, the next week we were under contract, listed it under contract the end. So that works. And this still works for me today that you want more leads, but do you know what to do with a lead when you get one? So here's my question to you. Do you have your systems in place? And do you know all the different ways you can use that system to leverage it to scale your business? The basics are still true. Speed to the lead. You want to follow up with the lead, 5 to 15 minutes of receiving it, if possible, in any way. You want to follow the 3x3 rule, which is 3 calls, 3 texts, 3 emails within 72 hours of getting that lead to try to have a conversation. And much of this you can automate in KV Core to help you. The thing is, you want to show up as a motivated agent, right? So that if they're feeling motivated, that energy is going to match and you're going to be more likely to win that deal. And it might not happen right away. It might happen over time, happen over weeks or months, even, or maybe years. So, what if the following could be true? What if I conducted for you the most comprehensive KV Core setup that I offer to optimize your KV Core website and CRM? What if my team and I found glitches in your system and we sent support tickets for you on your behalf as we're doing this setup? What if we also included custom widgets on your website that you could choose the layout, the look and feel of the website, and then these custom widgets could link to wherever you wanted on the interwebs, any videos, any websites, any forms, to feature your own niches and make it really yours? What if we also created a custom newsletter template for you to send out to your entire database that you could use over and over again that was designed to drive traffic back to your website? What if we installed 20 or more of my custom drip campaigns for you to reach buyers and sellers in your sphere and investors and even other agents? What if I also provided video training to explain to you what we did for your KB Core setup, how you can start leveraging the tool, and what we did for your campaigns? How do you start using those? What if I also sent you a weekly training and challenge email so that I would highlight a training that you have access to and challenge you to do something with it, with that information? What if I also sent you a weekly coaching email that told you all of the access you had for that week, all the different live sessions you had, where the recordings were, special sessions we were going to have, special training, any news that I had for you to keep you on track? What if I gave you access to all of my exclusive on demand training? And I'm talking like 300 plus hours, probably training. What if I also provided a monthly happy hour mastermind along with a private community collaborative group with like minded agents for you to collaborate with? What if I also provided 1 or 2, so sometimes 1, sometimes also 2, weekly live office hours where I'm there and you can just come and ask me anything that you're trying to work through with your digital marketing, with your lead generation, with your content creation, with your database management, that or just anything in your business. Like today, Sylvia, I feel stuck and I'm thinking about quitting real estate. Talk me off the ledge. If that's you, I can help you. All right. What if I also provided a weekly live training session on lead generation or a lead conversion topic, a digital marketing topic, a database management topic, a social media topic, along with recordings? What if you had a virtual assistant or assistant and I also trained your virtual assistant as part of this whole deal included, and they also got their own live coaching session with me or somebody from my staff, one of my VAs, one of my customer success director, and they also had access to all the on-demand training? What if you also got a private onboarding session to help you understand all the next steps and how to navigate everything that I offer? And then what if we also offered you additional add-on services that you could choose to use or not? Like we did a Facebook page setup or optimization. Maybe we edit a intro video for you that you just are talking in front of your phone and now we got to make it look cute with music and graphics and sound effects. Like what if we could do that for you and then you could use that video anywhere? What if you had a team and you needed training for your team and we could provide that? What if you had an additional MLS that you wanted to feature on a different domain and you needed it to integrate with your primary domain in KB Core and you needed help with that and we could do that for you? What if you switch brokerages, but you're still going to use KB Core? What if you change your domain and now stuff on your KB Core website screwed up or you do something new and you really need to refresh your setup? And if you were in my coaching program for $200, we could redo the entire setup for you if you're in my coaching program. What if you really liked the coaching program and you wanted to stay in it after 12 months because you were getting so much value from it? And you could continue in there for a low monthly fee to just keep all the benefits. What if we did your lead generation and social media for you? In other words, Sylvia, can you just keep working my KV core now that you set up? Can you post on my social media and share into local groups so I can generate a few leads here and there with that and increase my presence? And that would be post on Instagram, Facebook, and in my Google My Business page. And could you also go into my database every day and provide a report of my hot leads and make sure anybody that sent me a message gets replied to, and then you can highlight for me who I need to pay attention to so I don't miss anything? And then could you also create a blog post for me once a month that was SEO optimized for me and my area on my website? And then you sent a custom newsletter for me every month. So we could do that for you with Commandos. And that's only offered to my coaching clients, by the way. What if you wanted your very own VA and you wanted someone who was trained in KV Core, someone who my virtual assistants also trained, that they went through a 5-week boot camp in which they had to learn skills of how to be a pretty high level virtual assistant for a real estate agent. And they were introduced to all the ins and outs of KB Core and your digital marketing and your lead generation and project management and all the kind of stuff that you need from a VA. What if we matched you with a virtual assistant like that? And we supported you and that virtual assistant for a year in your relationship and made sure that virtual assistant was trained and working with you. And you were given masterminds in order to, with other clients who got a VA with us too, to make sure you were doing a good job yourself with working with that VA and we'd help you overcome any challenges. What if we also set up your Google My Business page or your Google Workspace us for you? What if we did that? And what if you wanted some one-on-one coaching with me? And that could be an add-on. These are the add-on services only offered to my coaching clients, by the way, for the most part. Enter the Presto coaching program. This is my most comprehensive setup that I offer and coaching programs. Everything I just outlined is what you're going to get and or have access to. This is my success menu. I'm going to put this in the chat. I want to tell you what's on here. First of all, let's go to the Presto Prestige for agents. I have Presto Prestige for agents and for teams. But either way you look at it, you're going to show up on this webpage and I explain these are all the things you're getting. And you can choose to make payments for a year because it's not a subscription. You can make payments for a year or you can pay up front and save some money. So this program, my coaching program, is $4,400 for 1 year, 12-month period. After that, it's $147 to continue, but you can cancel anytime. If you're like, I don't have $4,400 lying around, but I really know I could benefit from this type of program to just somebody to hold my hand through basically everything, you're going to want to come into Presto Prestige if you want help. And it's $399 a month. It's 12 payments, and this is what you're going to get. Okay. So it breaks it down. Now, if you have a team and you're using the core team add-on, or you have an individual KBO core account that wasn't given to you by a brokerage, you have your own account, you have a company account, so you have a couple different domains and stuff. That's my Presto Prestige for teams or offices. It's a little more expensive. And the reason is because we offer a team training package with it. And we also set up not only the company/team domain, but also the team leader's domain. And so I tell you the differences of what you get with each option, whether you're solo agent or domestic team versus a larger team with core team add-on or an office. Okay. So again, your options are paying all at once or paying up front. All right. So that's that. And then as you scroll down, I tell you every single thing we do, but this is not even it. I do more than even this, but this is just at least, you're going to at least get that. All right. So I just don't think there's nothing else out there like what we do. Going back to the offers though, what if you're like, that's great, but like, I don't have time. I don't care. It's not that important to me. I just want a great setup and maybe some on demand training. Then you might consider Space Magic Pack if you don't have that already. Now, if you do have Space Magic Pack, I want you to know, and that's the abracadabra setup, by the way. If you have that, you can get 20% off of the coaching program. So if you've already had this Space Magic Pack, you're going to, that amount you paid, you don't have to pay beyond that. So we will discount it so that you're not paying more money. Okay. But the Space Magic Pack is great. It's a great setup. You get training on what we did for your setup. You get some on-demand training like KB Core Odyssey to really the meat and potatoes of what you can be doing in KB Core. You don't get all of my on-demand training, but you get a good amount. You get what's necessary, I think. And you get the option to come into my digital domination class for 30 days for free. Okay. So I'll get into that in a minute. And the other setup that I have is the Queen Special. This is a more basic yet essential setup. You get a little bit of on-demand training just to learn a few things about what your setup is, how to work it, and like how to do some basic lead gen. It's like a nice starter kit. If you're like, I'm not ready for any of this, but I need a setup, then that's what you want. Now, then there's Digital Domination Masterclass. And this is $97 a month. You can cancel anytime. If you get it with Space Magic Pack, you get 30 days free trial. If you don't get it with Space Magic Pack and you get it with Presto Prestige, it's free with Presto Prestige coaching. You just get it. All right. And you could also add it onto the Queen Special or just have it as a standalone. And what this is, you get a 14-day free trial if you want to do this. And it is something you cancel anytime. It is a subscription. But you get a live weekly training on a topic with me with some Q&A usually, but it's a larger group. Sometimes I've had 20 on there. Sometimes I've had 80. It just depends on the day who's going to show up. And then you get the recordings and you get access to all of my on-demand training. And you get the weekly challenge training email as well. And you do get a private group with that. So it's really good. So if you're like, I don't know where to start, and you are like, let's start with something, then start with that. Start with Digital Domination Masterclass. All right. And then if you're like, I'm ready to go all and I win it all, then you want Presto coaching. All right. We also offer WordPress websites. We're offering a special right now, 20% off WordPress until the end of the month. WordPress is like really having your own brand, because what if you're using KB Core right now, but you stop using it? Then what? What's your website going to be? So I don't ever have to face that because I have my own WordPress website that is linked to KB Core. Here's my WordPress website. And if I click on search homes or whatever, guess where it goes? It goes to KB Core. So I can link this to whatever IDX I want to. And I can take my website with me no matter what brokerage I'm at, with no matter what CRM or IDX I'm using, even no matter what business I'm in. I'm always going to be sylviadana.com. So that's nice. And finally, free resources. Ton of free stuff. As many of you can go to my free resources on my website. I just put it in the chat again and see everything I have for free. My free setup class, free lead generation class, free digital domination strategy calendar, and a bunch of other free stuff. Mary Jo, if I sign up, would I leave digital domination? No, your monthly payment for digital domination would be canceled though, because now you're in Presto Prestige. So no, you wouldn't leave it. You'd still get it. It'd just be, but it's included with everything else. Do you have a template you share that we can use in KB Core? Mine looks rather plain. Yeah, so that's a great question. With how our websites look, it depends. So mine actually is basic-ish because I really concentrate on my WordPress site more, but this is what my KB Core website looks like. I've got my the way I like my logos. I wanted my logo to be first and EXP's to be second. I want it to be white. And then I use my own listing photos that I have for my own listings I've had as my background images. So we invite you to do that when you get your setup, whatever setup you get. If you have any of your own listing photos or photos that you have that are high resolution that you want to be on your website, great, we'll put them there. And then we do customized widgets to link to wherever you want them to go, featured areas. So this is an example. We offer at least 6 different designs of different template layout ideas with different looks and feels you can choose. This is like an example of one, too. And these are his widgets because this is the style he liked. We want to make it look nicer, but what we think is most important, what I feel is most important is making the thing functional for lead generation and conversion and making it functional for consumer to navigate and concentrating in helping you generate leads and make money with the thing. Okay. All right. But those are good questions. I have 5 buyers raise their hand following up last year, now ready to buy. What do you suggest you do as survey ideas? That's a good question. Really, just time frame. Right now, I think the biggest question to ask in a survey would be, are you waiting until you make a move in real estate for some reason? Are you waiting to buy? Are you waiting to sell? And find out what they say. And if they say we're waiting, okay, what are you waiting for? Are you waiting for interest rates to do something different? Are you waiting for inventory to do something different? Are you waiting for home values to do something different? Have you guys ever read the book that I mentioned before, The Closer's Survival Guide? Hector, have you ever read that book? The Closer's Survival Guide by Grant Cardone. If you're somebody you've got people that I'm waiting, I'm thinking, maybe in the spring, not right now, whatever, those kinds of things. This is probably the best book you could listen to over and over again right now. It's called The Closer's Survival Guide by Grant Cardone. First of all, he'll kick your butt a little bit about why you need to be a closer. And then, which we already know, but it just helps to really hear it and get it clear in your head about what you're trying to do in sales here, because that's what we're doing. And then learning to ask the right questions and guide people in the sale, because they do want to buy. They do want to do something. They just really don't know how, or they don't think it's possible, or they just don't feel like they have enough information yet. So they just put you off and put you off. If I go into the furniture store, I know I want to buy a couch, but I know I need a couch that's like pet friendly, stain resistant, super high quality, super comfy. And when I go into the furniture store, like, I'm not ready to be sold, but I do want to be sold. You know what I mean? And so I want somebody to guide me through the process. Show me what's possible and show me why I want this and show me why it makes sense to do this right now. It's the same sort of thing. So this book, if you listen to this over and over again, it will help you come up with ways to talk with a potential client to help get through what their real objection is. Some of what I do in Presto Prestige, or what we do, if you go to my website, thesylviasystem.com, if you click on KV Core, I'm just going to put this in here. If you guys hear me talk about KV Core Blast Off Plus, that's the old term for what I now call Digital Domination Masterclass. So when I say KV Core Blast Off Plus, I'm talking about Digital Domination Masterclass. FYI, and the reason I change it is because I talk about way more than KV Core. So that's why. KV Core is just one of the many things we talk about. Sum up in this video about all the different possibilities here. I have the done for you setup options listed here. So if you're like, how do these other setups compare with Presto Prestige? This is a quick look here. And then when you click on learn more, it takes you to Presto Prestige, where I just really listed out all the things. And then if you go down, like, more of all the things. And I think the setup is great. Like, we do the nicest setup, and that's important. But what's most important about the coaching program, the multiple times each week you get, and the smaller groups Q&As. So if you were in the coaching program and came to the Q&As that I do for Presto Prestige, there's going to be like maybe 5 people in there. And they're small groups where you get to ask me anything, and I can talk through all of your situations and work it out with you. And there's some collaboration too, but everybody gets help. And if there's additional help you need, I'll meet you out the side, or one of my staff members, like Gina Marie, will work with you off line to help you with that thing, and like tech support things. really holding your hand and so many things. And like the other things that you need, like the Facebook or the WordPress or the VAs, we're here for that too. We're all inclusive.